Hey Maeser students, this video will show you how to log into Powerschool and access your class grades and attendance. The website you'll need to go to is maeserprep.powerschool.com, and if you've forgotten how to spell Maeser, it is on your polo. At the login page, you'll go ahead and enter the username and password your teacher gave you for Powerschool. Powerschool passwords are an 8-digit number. They cannot be changed. So if you have changed your password for your email or Google Classroom, your Powerschool password stays the same. It's that same 8-digit number. It'll be the same number your entire time at Maeser. So you just need to memorize that number. So enter that information and click Sign In. Once you're inside Powerschool, you have access to several different screens. The first one here in the left-hand side is Grades and Attendance, and that is going to be the most useful screen for you to keep track of your grades and attendance in your classes. You'll see all of your classes listed in order of the class period. EXP stands for expression. It's what Powerschool calls class periods. And then you'll see all of your classes and any grades that are calculating for those classes. Classes that don't have a grade haven't had scores entered for any assignments you've turned in. Once you've turned in assignments and your teacher has scored them, you can click on the letter grade in that class, and it might take a minute to come up, but you'll see all of the assignments your teacher has entered and any scores that they've entered for you. You may see some little icons down here under flags, and the descriptions of those are all down here at the bottom of the page. So on this quiz, Maximus's teacher has marked that it's collected and that it's excluded from his final grade. You'll also see over here on the right-hand side the grade for the assignment, and if your teacher has entered a comment for the assignment or for your score, you'll be able to pull that up by clicking on View in the Information and Comments column. So we'll go back to Grades and Attendance, and you'll see this screen has last week's attendance and this week's attendance. If you have any absences or tardies, you'll be able to see those here. For your in-person days, an unexcused absent is marked with an X. For your remote days, if you forgot to check in by the deadline, you'd be marked absent with a DA. There are two kinds of tardies, and those codes are T for a regular tardy and C for 10 minutes or longer tardy in class, because the state requires us to report those differently. You get a total of 6 tardies, 10-minute tardies, parent excused absences, and distance day absences before you get an NG in the class. Once you hit 7 in any given class period, that grade will change to an NG, and you'll see NG here instead of your letter grade. That means you need to attend attendance school. So pay attention to Maeser updates for information on how to access attendance school so that you have a grade in your class. If you get NGs, they count against you just like an F, and that means you will not be able to participate in sports or activities or gain credit for the class towards graduation. Okay, some of the other options in the left-hand menu are grade history, and this will give you a tab for every year that you have been at Maeser. And if you click on those tabs, it will take you through and show you all of the grades for that school year. Attendance history will show you your attendance for the entire quarter that is currently in session. So right now I'm looking at Maximus's first week of school. He was absent, marked absent from 7th period on Wednesday the 19th, and marked absent on his distance learning day on Thursday for his 3rd period class. So those are going to be counting against him. Now you'll notice he's got an X in his 7th period class. X absences are unexcused, and that means they're an automatic NG. But we didn't see an NG on his grades and attendance page because his teacher hasn't marked any assignment scores in Powerschool. So you do want to be sure you're checking attendance history, even if you don't see any NGs, particularly for classes that have this little I, which means that there are no assignment scores in Powerschool. Powerschool can only override a final grade with an NG if there is a final grade to override. So for those classes with the I's, you want to make sure you're checking this attendance history page in your Powerschool to make sure you don't have any X absences. And if you're confused about any of the codes on your attendance screen, the legend for the codes is down here at the bottom. That gives you the definitions of all the different codes that we use in Powerschool. The teacher comments screen will show you if your teacher has added any comments on your final grade for the class. Maximus doesn't have any comments. School bulletin we don't really use. The My Schedule page will show you have 3 different tabs here. I like the week view for a visual representation of where you should be at any given time of the day, and the list view, and this is the one that you would print at the start of a semester to tell you what classroom all of your classes are in. Definitely go in and check to make sure that you are registered in the classes that you're actually attending. If you are an A-Day student, you should have an A on the end of every section number in Powerschool. If you're a B student, this should all say B. Matrix view gives you a full year overview. It's a little bit hard to read, and I think probably less useful for you. The school information screen will give you contact information for the front office, email addresses for the admins, and the email address for the attendance office. Test scores will show you any test scores that we have for you in Powerschool, and it just lists the test and test date here, but if you click on the blue link for the test, it will give you the score on the test. If you have taken the ACT, it's a great idea to make sure that we have entered this correctly. Every once in a while, we make a typo, and we want to make sure that your best test score is showing up on your transcript. The honor roll screen will show you every term that you have been listed on the honor roll at Maeser, and whether it was high honors or regular honors. Graduation progress will help you keep track of what credits you are still missing towards graduation. And you'll go over this with your counselor during your CCR every year. And access logs will show you when you and your parents have logged into Powerschool and how long you were online. So I can see Maximus's parent has accessed Powerschool several times. Max hasn't accessed Powerschool yet this year until today. So if I log back out and back in again, I should see today's date and how long I was logged in as Maximus. This district code down here on the left-hand side, PHPQ, is for the Powerschool Mobile App. There are apps for Powerschool for Apple and Android. So I highly recommend that you download the app and use our district code PHPQ to get hooked up so that you have access to Powerschool on your phone at any given time. If you have any questions about Powerschool, feel free to send me an email at info@maeserprep.org.